All right, good morning, Mishpaha. So, day 8, Psalm 8. O Yehovah, our Adonai, how excellent is your name in all the earth, who have set your glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes and nursing infants, you have ordained strength because of your enemies, that you may silence the enemy and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have ordained, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you visit him? For you have made him a little lower than the angels, and you have crowned him with glory and honor. You have made him to have dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, even the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, and the fish of the sea that pass through the paths of the seas. O Yehovah, our Adonai, how excellent is your name in all the earth. You know, you look at these handful of verses, 9 verses in chapter 8, and just in these few things you look at what the meaning is behind verse 2. He says, out of the mouths of babes and nursing infants you have ordained strength because of your enemies, that you may silence the enemy and the avenger. You know, so often we become so arrogant, and we think that through much study or through, research or whatever, that we can become so knowledgeable, and even to the point where some become all-knowing kind of attitude. We see a lot of that in religion, period. It doesn't matter, Christian, Messianic, Hebrew roots, even in other religions, Hinduism and Buddhism and New Age, all of them, all across the board. You know, there carries that same spirit of mentality, that thinking that because they've learned a few words in something, or because they've done some research, they've become so haughty. And we need to, and especially those who claim to be of the body of Messiah, those who claim to be a true believer or a child of the Father, and a part of the bride of Messiah. There's so much division because people think that they've got it all figured out. And an example, I'm not going to say a name, but I talked to this one guy. This was a long time ago, over a year ago. He had put a video out about end time prophecy and some stuff about the 2 witnesses. I love end time prophecy. I love talking about it. I love getting into the word about it. My mentality is, I don't care if people think I've got anything figured out or not. Because I know no matter what, we could spend 100 years studying end time prophecy. We're not going to figure all the puzzle pieces out, because Scripture doesn't reveal everything. And so we do know a lot, and we can get a good picture out of it. And long story short, so I messaged him and told him, man, I would love to get into a discussion with him about this. And he went and looked at my stuff. I guess went and looked at one of my end time prophecy teachings or whatever, and I was shocked by his arrogance, because he came to me with this attitude of you don't know what I know. We could not have a equal conversation type thing. And I was just like, wow. I was like, is this how you talk to people? This is how you treat people? And my point to all of this is that, you know, we look at everything of just what these 9 verses are referencing. Verse 3, when I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have ordained. We couldn't create a moon to save our life. We couldn't even create a speck. You know, it's there's a joke in with atheists. I've heard this joke years and years ago. Is that an atheist and God had a conversation, and God said, okay, or I'm sorry, not atheist, a creationist, you know, I'm probably saying that one wrong too. What's his name? The guy who thinks that we came from some piece of loogie out of the water. Darwinism. And so God and this guy have a talk, and God says, okay, well, I'll tell you what, you go create and I'll create, and go get what you got to get, and I'll meet you in 1 week, and we'll see who can create. So the guy comes back, or the scientist comes back a week later, and he says, okay, I'm ready. And so the scientist drops a pile of dirt and everything else, and God looks at him and says, make your own dirt. And the point to all of that, and I know I butchered the joke, but the point to all of that is everything that we have, everything that exists, is because of Yah. Even Scripture says anything that is good is from Yah. Every invention that man can come up with is because Yah has given him the intelligence to be able to invent, to create, to do these things. It's not because he has power to speak and therefore it shall be. Yehovah does. Yehovah did. You know, and when we look at this, and we need to understand how finite we really are. And if you don't understand what that word finite means, I encourage you to go look it up, get the full definition behind that word. But it is something that is limited. Infinite, which is what Yehovah is, there is no limit. There's nothing even remotely close to being equal to him, and definitely nothing greater than him. And so, and all that to say is that as we handle Yah's word and walk in his ways, and we understand just in these 9 small verses, you know, verses 4, 5, let's read the last 5 verses again. What is man that you are mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you visit him? What is man that he is mindful of us? We're nothing but a speck of dust. From dust we came, to the dust we shall return. I mean, in all honesty, we are literally nothing. What an ant is to you when you walk by and you see an ant walking across the sidewalk in front of you, that ant is nothing. There is nothing that ant can do to you or anything. Nothing. There's nothing. It has no power. It cannot do anything. It cannot reason with you. It cannot do anything that could be more logical than you, or outthink you, or have more wisdom, or anything else. I mean, it's literally that kind of difference between you and an ant and you and Yehovah. And yet we think that we are so knowledgeable. We think that we can add or make better what Yehovah has set into place. Amen. Verse 5, for you have made him a little lower than the angels. You have crowned him with glory and honor. And we're talking about what Yah has given man the authority to do. You have made him to have dominion over the works of your hands. As we know that Yah told Adam, all the earth is yours, all the animals, everything is all yours. You are given dominion over it all. You have put all things under his feet. beasts of the air, birds of the air, beasts of the field, birds of the air, fish of the sea. O Yehovah, our Adonai, how excellent is your name in all the earth. So, today, each day, I tell you to ponder on the scripture that we're reading today. I tell you the same thing again. You know, today, if you get a chance, read it again. Take the time to read it again. But as you go throughout the day, you go throughout your work, you go throughout whatever it is you're doing today, wherever it is that you're at, really look at everything around you and really understand and ponder, meditate on the fact how great Yehovah is in all of his creation. And in the greatest sense of the meaning, what a privilege it is that one, he created us, two, he's given us dominion over all of his creation. And look at how bad that we have destroyed it. So much so, they already had to destroy the earth once by water. We know that he is going to destroy this earth again by fire because of man's vileness. So when we think upon all of this, we look at how Christianity, religion, or whatever title you want to put it under, we look at how under the guise of us being believers, we have created tens of thousands of denominations because we are so stiff-necked and so stubborn that we can't all stand together as one under the word of Yah, because everybody wants to keep adding and taking away from it. And yet we think that we have such great wisdom. We think that we have it all figured out and everybody else is stupid. And it ain't it. We need to humble ourselves. This is why, and I repeat it again, Isaiah 66 verse 2. On this one shall I look, he who is of a broken heart and a contrite spirit and trembles at my word. That's where we need to be. Every day, all day, 24/7. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, even in our dreams, we need to tremble at his word and understand we don't know nothing. And even what we do know is still nothing. We need to give him praise and glory for every little piece of information, a little bit of wisdom, little bit of anything that Yah allows us to actually grasp and have understanding of, because of the awesomeness of his might and who he is compared to what we are. So meditate on that today, Mishpachah. Think upon the amazing, just be in awe of who he is, and be so thankful that you even have any knowledge of who he is, that you are not lost, that you are not damned. Because Yah, according to his word, Yah only has to pull on our hearts once. That's it. How many times has he pulled on our hearts before we finally said yes? Before we finally swallowed our pride? Before we finally got over ourselves at least enough to acknowledge, yeah, we need him. He is a great and merciful Yah, and we are so blessed and lucky to even know who he is, to even call on his name. Amen. So, love you all, Mishpachah. May you be blessed, and may you just be wrapped in his presence today and filled with this Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom, shalom.